It's a Pioneer SX-450 in excellent condition. I picked up today. A few marks on the veneer, and as you can see here, a few paint marks that will brush off. Great condition. Low powered receiver. This is sort of like an entry level receiver. Multiple inputs on the back. Well, a few inputs: phone input, aux input, and a tape recorder input, along with the DIN socket. It does cope for 2 speakers, and the internal long wave, medium wave area on the back. I'll give it a run up. It's hasn't been used for a while actually. Apparently it's fully untested. No one, the seller doesn't know if it works or not. So I'm going to run it up on the Variac and see if there's any signs of life. Also keep an eye on currents as well on the meter. Make sure there's no DC on the speakers. So I'm going to start by winding it up on the FM. Start on AM actually, and then see how we go from there. So it's on the Variac on, and what's the input current? Okay, I've got hum on the left hand speaker. Okay, so that's not a good sign. So I think what we need to do is we need to get a meter on the outputs sockets and see if we've got a high DC offset, because we don't want to trash the amplifier, my speakers, the workshop speakers. So let's get disconnect the speakers. What I'll do is I'll stick a DVM across the output. Okay, it's a DVM across the output. Let's wind the mains up and see if we get a high offset on the speakers A. Okay, nothing on that channel. Let's try the other channel. Wind her up again. Well, it's not showing any high offset on the output speakers. Let's reconnect them back up again. It might just be power supply ripple or hum. So we'll reconnect up to the sockets. Now let's wind her up again, see what we get. Whoa. Let's turn the speakers off a minute. It does look like there is a problem in the output stage. Okay. Could be just a power supply cap actually. Let's just see if we get these. Okay. No, so it's come up. That's one of the reasons why you must be careful when you wind these old amplifiers up. These obviously caps are reforming, and there was quite a lot of current drawn initially as the amplifier kicked into life. Let's wind it back up. Okay, 200 volts. Got lots of noisy pots. Let's try that FM. Okay. We're not at full mains yet, so we can't expect it to work correctly, but it's having trouble tuning in it.
You couldn't reproduce the music, but you would hear it in your headphones in a museum or a university, and that would be
We've got no stereo signal.
More people would hear it.
The stereo is working actually, but these we got no stereo signal. So I'm going to leave it at low mains at the moment.
It's a reference to an unnamed monster.
Seems to be working okay actually.
7 and 8 with more of an American.
Let's increase the mains voltage.
And
Keeping on.
do tune in for that. We'll be having your Sarah Giroux and the McCrary sisters.
Current's looking stable.
How are you enjoying it so far?
Front panel's come up, lit up nicely now.
At gunpoint, forced to.
So it looks like this hasn't been used for a while, and hence the sort of the lots of hum from the mains suggests that the capacitor had needed to reform. And as I say, that's why it's always a good idea to wind them up gently rather than just nail the power straight onto these old capacitors that haven't been used for a while. And also the risk of putting a high offset on the outputs of the speakers and causing damage to your speaker equipment. As you can hear now, apart from a few noisy pops, seems to be working okay. Stereo's working. You can hear stereo even though the light's not working. So let's get the lid off this and have a look and see what's inside. Okay, that's the lid off, and you can see inside it's pretty standard of its era, point to point wiring, this twist wrap stuff that they used to like to use. Pretty basic front end. There is a smell of burning in here actually, but nothing's getting particularly hot, so it's probably just dust burning off transistors and things. Actually, the output stage is fairly warm. There is a smell of sort of hot dust and things, but I don't think there's anything untoward going on that I can see. I suppose I could have checked to make sure the transformer winding was actually set to 240 volts, which it is actually, so that's good. You should always do that first. You shouldn't really assume that the radio or the whatever, the bit of equipment is set to your line voltage. It might be an import or something like that. As for the stereo light, well, we need to get that changed. That will be one of the first things. These stereo lights just plug in here. I'll check the output for the decoder, make sure it has actually got a stereo signal. I will give it a bit of a clean up and see how we get on. But a nice little receiver, as typical sort of Pioneer design from that era. This is the more of the budget version. They did the one with the black background and lit up blue. That was quite nice. I might get one of those next, but this was fairly cheap, so I bought this. And yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully you'll get it restored.